What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of WrestleMiss. Today, I am very excited because I brought in the big guns. I brought in Simon Miller. Simon, welcome back to the channel. You've been here before. It's good to have you again.
Oh, no, I appreciate you. When you messaged me, I was like, absolutely, Denise, I will come back on. And I'm very excited about today because nothing annoys the internet more than people that make wrong predictions like this guy. So we are going to
How
have some
bad are
fun.
your predictions?
I would say in 2024, I was probably 70% wrong. I would go with
Oh,
it's because
no.
I make 2 grand predictions, you see. I don't want to be boring. I want to be crazy. So yeah, it doesn't really go well.
See, I get that because that's kind of how I am when I think about like my year-end predictions. I get wild because here's the thing,
Yeah.
like in pro wrestling, when it comes to it, all of a sudden all these crazy things happen and you're like, "Damn, how did my brain not think of this?"
Exactly. It's so true. But it's okay because if you don't put it out there, it may not happen. So I'm
Yeah.
happy to manifest. And if I'm right, oh my gosh, I'm gold for ages. So yeah, I'm a happy man.
Bragging points. The crazier, the bigger the bragging points you
That's
get.
right. The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. It's an old
Yes,
school saying.
yes. Yes. So today, I think it's probably going to be a little bit more simpler, maybe. I don't know. But we are going to be predicting future WWE champions for the year 2025. So, how this is going to work is we're going to give 2 names that we think at any point during the year, any point during 2025, can become a champion. We're going to go through all of the main roster championships minus the speed titles, guys. Let's be real. We're not counting that. That's social media stuff. We're counting the main roster for Raw and SmackDown. So let's get to it. So, Simon, the way that I want to work this is like you give a name and then I give a name, and then we just kind of go from there. So, here we go. Let's do this. I want to go ahead and kick things off with the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Who do you have?
Right. So we talked about manifesting. This is me manifesting. We can have a free bird rule with this as well, and that's good. But they vanished from TV, and it annoyed me. They have the world's stupidest name, but it's become so dumb. I now love it. I'm going with my number 1 pick. It's a Pure Fusion Collective. Because why put them together if you're not going to do anything with them? And they're all really good. When you actually break it down, they're all really, really talented. But they did just quite literally vanish into the abyss. As soon as Raw went 2 hours, we didn't see them anymore. So I was like, at the moment, we don't know. We really don't know what's going to happen with the Women's Tag Team Championships or with them. But 2025 is a brand new year. So I'm putting them on the table. Why have them as a team if they're not going to win? You can do this. We can make it happen.
And you're so right, by the way. Like, they are a good team. Like, all 3 of them are great. But you want to know why they vanished from your TV?
Why?
Because the name is terrible. The name is the biggest thing working against them.
It's so bad. I don't know who came up with it. I keep saying it on all my own stuff. It sounds like, with the Pokemon games, you get Pokemon Red and Blue. If you told me that Pokemon Pure Fusion Collection was coming, I'd be like, I'll play that. I'll play
Oh
Pokemon
my
Pure Fusion
gosh.
Collection. So they do have to change the name. But again, let's not let the name distract us from the fact that, especially Sonya Deville, so underrated. I really like Sonya Deville. I never do anything with her. So let's do something.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. All right, so my first name I'm going to give to are actually former champions that they didn't really do anything with, and it kind of came like at a time where I thought that they should have been pushing another tag team. But I'm going to go with Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. I
Nice.
don't think they got their proper due, and the reason why I'm going with them now is because I just think they look so freaking cool, Simon. To me, I see them and I'm like, those are girls that I want to hang out with. Like, they look cool, they're good wrestlers. It's just a matter of like really investing in like building their characters and their storylines a little bit more.
I totally agree. And they won it last time because it was the show in Scotland, right? And they're from such isles. So that was nice. But you can now literally play into that and be like, okay, that was our sort of sentimental win. But now we want a proper win. And also, and I don't mean this is disrespect to them, it's just the way that WWE sees them. They're not going to do anything with them as single stars in 2025. So if you're not, sit down and go, well, how do we maximize them the most? It's a great shout, Denise. I like that a lot.
Oh man, I love that. All right, so here we go. Next team. Who's your number 2 pick?
I'm confident about this. I think we should go with Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson. I think they should become.
Wait, pause. They're my next pick too.
Yes, that's good. That's good because if we both come down on it, it has to be the selection. But honestly, Lash Legend has been really good since day one. But again, you could kind of see you're learning about wrestling, which is fine. That's what NXT is for. You're green, whatever the word you want to use. But ever since she's been called to the main roster, I mean, Jakara Jackson too, but especially Lash Legend just went, I can hang. She's just so good. So again, I don't think right now, given their level of experience, you want to expose them in singles division. There's no need. But together, they're sort of bigger than the sum of their parts. So I just think we should get them up there, establish them, and then give them a proper title run. 2, 3, 4 months, whatever you want to do. And then if people don't watch NXT, you can sell it to the main roster audience. These are people you need to keep their eye on, because especially once they do have more experience, I'm a big Lash Legend guy. I think she could go all the way. I really do. But Jakara Jackson's great too. But let's sort of plan long term here, and we can build using the women's tag team belts.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. See, you said you thought you were going to be super crazy. I guess that makes me crazy too, because here's the thing with Lash Legend. I second you. Like, I think she's great. She really kind of like fit like a glove on the main roster. Like, almost you would have never known that it was, her first times on the main roster. Like, she just blended in so well.
Yeah.
And even Jakara Jackson, like, for a while, I'm like, oh, she's kind of just riding Lash Legend's coattails. But like in the last couple of weeks, she's really stepped it up, where all of a sudden I'm looking at her and I'm going, oh, she's kind of spunky. I like this. And so, now I have more of an interest in them as a tag team. So good picks there. Let's go into the WWE Tag Team Championship. All right. Who do you got?
Are we going with the Raw or the SmackDown ones?
The SmackDown ones.
Yes. Right. So these are boring picks, but I want to get some right? So my first pick is DIY. Yeah. There is no way that Tommaso Ciampa is walking around being all bald, moody man. Eventually Johnny Gargano's not going to turn as well. And man, anyone that watches my stuff, they'll be rolling their eyes. I say all the time, it's so damn boring, but it's true. If you are going to do a heel turn for people that are involved in the title scene or talking about belts, and they do not win those championships, you have ruined the heel turn. Because do you remember when Shinsuke Nakamura turned heel on AJ Styles and all he did was punch him in the groin? That's all he did. All he got out of that heel turn.
Every week.
He didn't win a title. He never won the matches unless he punched him in the groin. And it was like, what a crap person you are as a wrestler. This didn't work at all. So if DIY, Tommaso Ciampa is fine. But Johnny Gargano going heel, you're making a choice there. The nicest man ever. So if they're going to become bad, they have to win the tag titles, even if it's just for a week. You have to be able to say what we did made sense. And it seems to be the way they're leaning at the moment. So I thought, is the first name that popped into my brain. I'm going with DIY.
Yeah, I found this one the most hard because I felt like all options were sort of like, maybe this person, like, just to. It's funny because literally moments before Simon and I started this video, I was like, hold on, I need picks. And it was literally for this category because I was thinking, I was going through all my lists and I had forgotten this category, even I had to do. But, anyways, I ended up going, I don't know if you consider this pick boring, but I think we can do something here again, and it's Jay and Jimmy Uso, the Usos. And the only reason I just kind of thought it was, okay, well, clearly, Jay's time as Intercontinental Champion is kind of over. They are, back together again. So I feel because they are back together again, I feel like they could go back and be champions once again. It almost feels like inevitable. And I think there would be like a big pop if all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey, we're going for the tag titles. And then they win again because they are a great tag team and we haven't seen it in a while. So I have a feeling they may go back to that.
I don't mind that at all. Like, as long as they have plans for both of them as singles, because I think there's untouched magic there. But you're right, because the OG Bloodline just got back together. So if you want to strike when the iron is hot, you do it now. And also, WWE is a pop-based organization, as they should be. And that's going to send people nuts. And you're right. It's been a not great year for the men's tag team belts. So a great way to kind of get around that. Listen, I think the Usos are probably one of the best tag teams ever. So I think it's a really good shout. I didn't think about that. I like it a lot.
Thank you. You make my predictions feel special. I'm like, I don't feel so dumb now.
No, I like it.
Simon, who's your second pick?
Super boring, but it kind of goes back. I could copy and paste what I just said. I've gone with the Street Profits because, again, have you got yes?
I've also got the Street Profits.
But here's the thing, right? Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins recently they haven't gone bad, but there's an edge to them, right? It's like a little, what's going on here? And again, if you're going to do that and then they don't do anything with it, And I think the reason we've gone for these teams is because the SmackDown Tag Division has been a bit lame over the. It's been better the quarter four of the year or the last part of the year, but in the middle it was a total mess. So no, I think the Street Profits make all the sense in the world, unless you're going to split them up. That's the only reason not to do it. If we're keeping them together, you got to give them the titles again.
I feel you, man. I went with this because I thought, well, you either break them up and they go off and they do their own thing, or you sort of try to reignite them through the championship belts. Because let's be real, it's kind of been like a dud for the Street Profits. They haven't been
Mm.
able to get out of this hole. Like right now, it feels like they're in this like sinkhole and they're trying to get out of it or trying to get out of it, but they just can't. So I have hopes for the Street Profits. Either break them up, make them tag team champions. I don't know. Maybe we can run with something there. So that's the only reason why I picked them.
Yeah.
All right, next up, World Tag Team Champions. Who do you got?
I love the fact that you had to, I just realized I always forget which is which with Raw and
No,
SmackDown. Just have
I
one
know
belt.
that I don't know them either, but because I wrote them down, that's how I knew.
Yeah. So I am real strong on this one. And out of all the predictions I have written down here, if WWE, they could even do it before 2025, as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, I think you may have this one as well, Denise. The New Day have got to become the tag team champions at some point. They
No, I
have to.
don't have them. Now I feel
That's good.
stupid because it makes
No, no,
sense.
no, it's good to have variation. But honestly, I have watched that turn, whatever we want segment, multiple times. I think it's a work of art without wanting to sound like a moron. It's one of the best things I've ever seen in wrestling TV because usually I like to think I'm nerdy enough that I kind of know what direction, because you watch so much wrestling, you kind of get a feel for it. Not a clue with this. I felt stunned. And it was so good. And the best way to capitalize on that, not only do I think they should win the belt, I think they should probably hold it for the entire year. I'm so into this asshole version of the New Day. If we don't do it, I think we've gone nuts. I think it'd be the worst decision we could possibly do.
So I gotta be honest with you, hearing you say the New Day, and obviously given the fact that they're heels now, and just after everything that happened, I kind of hate both of my options that I picked now. Even though before I was like, yeah, I'm so proud of these picks. Now I'm just kind of like, scrap that. Let's go with what Simon said. But I'm gonna stick to what I wrote down just for the sake of consistency. But I ended up going with the War Raiders, and the only reason I went with them was because I'm like, oh, they're cool, they're back. Let's reignite them into something special. You know, we're done away with like the Disney Channel version of them, and it feels like they could be cool again. So that's kind of like the mentality that I was under. But now that I think about it, they did go for the tag titles and it didn't happen. And that was pretty surprising. I think a lot of people kind of just wanted to see new tag team champions, right? And now I'm thinking that they probably didn't pull the trigger. Why? Because they might be saving it for the New Day.
Well, my other pick is the War Raiders, right? I've come up with a nice little. So I think you may be right. I really, really do. But I don't think that WWE right now, when it comes to tag team division, wants the New Day to take it off the Judgment Day, because the Judgment Day are like assholes as well. Right? There's just a bunch of horrible people running around. So I actually think what they may be doing is I think they may give it to the War Raiders quite early on. But I think the War Raiders are going to have a really short tag team run because the New Day are going to do something so abhorrent and so bad and so dastardly and so evil that we're going to be like, wait a minute. That's what they did, these people that we've loved for the last 10 years. And they took it off the War Raiders, who, listen, I really like the War Raiders, underrated tag team, but they're not as over as they could be at the moment. However, they are the best babyface option I think you have on Raw. So to take it away from them, especially if they do the big, oh, I can't believe it, and the New Day take it off them. So that's the way that I'm kind of backwards booking here. I honestly think the War Raiders can hold it for 1 to 2 weeks, and the New Day somehow get a shot and they win. But I really need them to win in the worst possible way. I need it to hurt my heart and hurt my soul. But that's why I think the War Raiders is actually quite a good pick. I think there's a combination there that hopefully will make those belts feel relevant again, because again, the Judgment Day have held them for 200 days and defended them twice. That ain't great. That's pretty bad.
Simon, what does it say about us that we're like, we want to be hurt by this
I
New Day
know.
storyline? We
I
want to
know.
cry. What is wrong with us?
No, it worries me, but I do. I want to be crushed every single Monday night for at least the next 12
Yeah.
months.
Yeah, I feel you. All right, the next one, I kind of went with the selfish pick because, and I don't know when this is gonna happen. It's inevitable, like it will happen someday. Will it happen in 2025? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But it's Julius and Brutus Creed. It's the Creed brothers. I
That's a
am
great shot. I didn't even
such
think about that.
right. They're such a freaking awesome tag team. Like I'm loving seeing them blossom on the main roster, and it's only going to get bigger and better for them. So for that reason, selfish pick. I've been a fan of theirs from like day one, so that's why I'm rooting for them.
That's all really good. They should win it. And then that's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Solidifies Chad Gable's group as well. Like gives them a little something. I didn't even think about them. More shame on me. Denise, that is a great pick. I second this, but not for a while because the New Day have to hold the belts.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, let's go ahead and get into another championship. This one's on the women's side, and this one is one that we don't yet have a champion because it's the Intercontinental Championship for the women. So, this one, I guess you can go with either who you think is going to win it or who you think is going to win it in 2025, whatever you feel. Um, Take the ball. What do you got?
So once again, I think it'll probably be a short title reign, but sometimes WWE is really good at going, you know what, that person never got their due. So even though we can't work them into the storyline for as long as we want, because again, the women's division in WWE right now is pretty awesome. It's growing all the time. I would like to see Natalya be the first ever women's Intercontinental Champion. Again, I don't think it's something they would do for long just because they have so many quote unquote young up Natalia's not old, but young up and coming stars that they probably want to get the belt to. But I think as a coronation, most fans would be like, that's really nice. That's really, and sometimes I just want, again, we just talked about destroying our hearts. I also like to have nice and lovely feelings in there as well. And because Natalya is in the tournament, I cannot see another time where she may actually be up for winning it. So let's just do it now. So I think Natalya should get it, and then you can take it off for in a month, whatever. But yeah, this is certainly a manifestation one. If anyone deserves a championship, it's flipping Natalya.
Right, right. I know. Honestly, when I saw her name on there, I thought like, okay, there's a chance that she could win her first round match and maybe make it like either all the way to the end or pretty damn close to it. So it's not far off. So it's funny because I didn't include the person that I think is going to win the Intercontinental Championship in this because I was thinking more of like next year.
For
And since I
sure,
know
yeah.
they're crowning the champion at Saturday's night's main event, like my
Yeah.
official pick for the Intercontinental Championship, for the Intercontinental Championship, honestly, I don't even think I have one, but I think it may be Raquel Rodriguez. But
Shout.
but regardless, I'm sticking with the people who I think will be in 2025. So I decided to go with Io Sky because I feel like that one is just, dude, she's just been so good. I feel like lately she has been, she reminded, I think, a lot of people in the last couple of months that she really is an incredible wrestler. And lately, I've just noticed more of this new, the more of a surge in people actually caring about Io. So I feel like I had to run with her. And I know that if she were to hold this title, she would legitimately go out there and have like a bunch of awesome matches with just about anybody that you put her in the ring with. So I'm going with Io.
So my other pick is Io Sky.
I love how we're on the same wavelength.
I love it. I love it. And the reason is pretty much what you just touched upon. It's a brand new title, but it has the Intercontinental branding. And the Intercontinental title on the men's side was always workhorse title, you know. Rah, rah. And Io Sky is the workhorse on in the women's division. She's amazing. She doesn't have bad matches. And my favorite thing about Io is that recently they've allowed her to show her personality more in the ring, like the smiles, the sort of the goofiness. She is a little bit goofy in the way, but in a good way. Like it really adds to her character. And I think because of that right now, I think she's better than ever. And I do think she's one of the top 3 women in the world. I think that's fair. I have to sit down and think about that, but it's right up there. So if you want to sell that title to, I don't know, naysayers, people that don't think it's a good idea, you put it on Io Sky, and within 6 months, everyone's going to be like, this title's amazing. This title's
Right?
brilliant because you're just having so many good matches. And also, in a good way, the world title scene's getting quite crowded, which is exciting. But because she has that match with Liv Morgan at Saturday Night's main event, which she won't win, I'd love it if she did, but she won't. The sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? The comeback can be winning the IC title in 2025. And then I think she should be another one that should probably hold it for 6 months plus. And then you've established it as a belt, and then you're all good. You can do whatever you want.
See, I love that. I love that. All right. So, yeah, your second pick was Io. My second pick, I'm going to go with Lyra Valkyra. And I'm going
Oh,
to go
I
with
love
her
it.
because she's somebody. It's funny because speaking of Io, she had really great matches with Io. But I just think that, okay, you obviously want to make some new stars. I think that Lyra is definitely one of them. She's got the in ring work done. I think the next thing she has to work on is more of like her promos and things like that. And just to present herself as larger than life. But she's already got a huge part of that covered, which is good wrestling. So that's why I'm going to go with her. I feel like like her becoming Intercontinental Champion at some point could really, again, similar to Io Sky, just see her go out and defend that championship belt. Very nice and very successfully.
Like it. I mean, Lyra Valkyria. It's funny. I did a video today. It'll be live on my channel soon, where Lyra was one of those people. Just the call up from NXT wasn't what I hoped it would have been at first. Maybe lost in the shuffle. Maybe there's other stuff going on. I was disappointed in a good way. I wanted more from Lyra Valkyria because I know how good she was in NXT, especially that Becky Lynch stuff. I was a big fan of that. So that would be a great way to get her going properly. Like her and Blair Davenport, I really hope have good 2025s.
Alrighty, next up, we got the Women's United States Championship. All right. I guess we should start off with just like overall predictions of who we think really quickly is going to become US champion. Who do you got for this one?
So I'm always going to, I think you'll probably say it as well, but I'm going to keep saying it. I don't care. It has to be Chelsea Green. It has to be Chelsea Green. It has to be Chelsea Green. If it's not Chelsea Green, I'm going to be really mad because it's so easy. Chelsea Green is such a good character. She could lose it in 24 hours. That would actually enhance her persona because she would use that for the next 6 months as you screwed me over, blah, blah, blah. So Chelsea Green has been doing such good work in 2024. I totally believe that wrestling should be a pat on the back business. So you give someone a prize at the end of it to say, thank you so much for your hard work. And you do that publicly because, again, that's just how it works. So not only do I think Chelsea Green should win the tournament for a good chunk of 2025, I mean, I would like her to have a longer reign, but a short reign's fine. And I also think if you do the longer reign too, you can remind people she's a very good wrestler. She just leans into the comedy stuff because she's good at it. So she can, again, she operates very differently to Io Sky, but she can have very, very good sort of matches herself. So it might, anytime people ask me, I say, if it's not Chelsea Green, I'll make a video about it, be really mad. That's what I'm going to do. It would
Right,
change
right.
nothing, but I'm still going to do it.
I agree with you. I also think it has to be Chelsea Green. And like you mentioned, like, yeah, she's a good wrestler, but also the comedy stuff, I think, is what's like gotten her over. And I
Yeah.
feel like that is just so I don't know, it's just so important. So I feel like she has really found the key to success because she is getting over and people are clamoring for her to win this title. So I'm on board. But here we go. Official picks for 2025. Who else do you see holding this women's US title?
So Jade Cargill. Now, we don't know what's going on with Jade Cargill. Like, there's this bizarre, is she injured? Is she not injured? I get a little bit uncomfortable talking about it because she is injured. I bet the last thing she needs is a bunch of flipping idiots talking about it. But it's
Yeah.
part. It's I get it, right? It's part of the business. But if she can come back at some point in 2025, I think she's perfect. I hate the term mid-card title, but people know what I'm talking about. But I just think that she can be somebody that it's almost like a Goldberg kind of climb up the ladder, right? You give her that belt. She's really good with it. She smashes some people. She has some longer matches with some other people. And then when she has had this glorious reign, basically what Gunther did, right, with the IC title, when she has done it, you look at this situation, you go, it's time. And she's obviously going to be a world champion one day. But this is such a good way to let her take baby steps and not give her too much too soon, which she doesn't need. She's already a superstar. We can take all the time in the world with this, and she's only going to get better and better. So yeah, Jade Cargill, I'm throwing it out there.
Yeah, I know it's so funny right now because we're just like, what the hell is going on with Jade, right? Like, what
Yeah.
is going on with her? Like, we really don't know, and what's going to happen. Like, so it's hard to say, but I feel like I think at some point you do see singles championship gold on her. It's like inevitable. So I feel like that is a pretty good damn shout. But I'm gonna go. I think I kind of thought about it this in a different direction, and similar to what you said with Chelsea Green about her sort of like earning her stripes and respect. I think that's why I went with Michin for future United States champion
Very
because
nice.
she's another one that I feel like she has been earning like, respect from the crowds just by the fact that she goes out there and she has fun matches. And hasn't even been that many. It's really was that Jada Parker NXT match. And then it was that
Yeah.
dumpster match that she did with Chelsea. And just like those two matches alone, I feel kind of got people going, huh? Like if you weren't looking at Michin before, you sure as hell are now.
Yeah. Meechin. I really like what they've done with Meechin in 2025. I was 2024. I was so surprised by it because she felt so forgotten. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but she wasn't doing anything. And then, yeah, that dumpster match with Chelsea Green was great. And then ever since then, she's been this badass, just kicks everybody's butt. And I'm like, this is fantastic. So no, I would love Meechin to get something. I think it would really establish everything she's done the last few months.
Nice. All right. So who's your second pick?
Bailey. Nice and simple. It's
Oh.
Bailey because I don't know what's going to happen with the world titles, but I don't think they're going to go back to Bailey, which will upset me a little bit. But Bailey, I love the fact that Bailey won at WrestleMania 40. I didn't think what we did with her world title run was at the level that it should have been. I kind of feel like it got lost in the shuffle. So I would love Bailey almost to be I'm trying to think of someone back in the day that sort of went down to the mid-tier titles, but then just sort of, I guess like when John Cena won the US title in 2016, he had the open challenge, and all of a sudden everyone's like, man, this US title is the greatest thing ever. Before that, no one cared about it. Now it's different with these belts, they don't exist. So you can create whatever you want to create. But I just think Bailey having it gives it so much prestige because it's flipping Bailey. Like even Cody Rhodes said today in an interview, like if you're talking about locker room leaders, Bailey and Randy Orton. And I was like, wow, man, you forget how long she's been there, how good she is. I just want to see her with a title and have a bunch of good feuds and a bunch of wins. So once again, this is me just manifesting and hoping that it happens.
You know, when people say like that they're very supportive of younger talent, and sometimes you look at them and you go, I
Yeah,
don't
right.
know, I don't really believe you. Like you're kind of lying. The one person that I do not get that with is Bailey.
Yeah.
Every time Bailey talks about the women's division and she talks about all the women, I firmly believe that she truly feels this passionate about the women's division. Like I when she says it, I'm like, I believe you. Like I legitimately feel like you care about these women. And then there's times where I hear other people say it, and I'm like, do you not really?
Yeah,
Do
you're
you? Or are
lying.
you just saying that? So yeah, I do think Bailey is, that locker room leader because she genuinely cares. All right. So my second pick is someone that I also kind of feel hasn't gotten their due yet. And I mean, this person has held titles before. I know that, but it's Naomi. I think
Oh,
that she always delivers in ring. She's so fun. She's got a great, aesthetic, her glow, the whole thing, all of it, the whole package. I think she definitely has it. And I think she's somebody that I feel can really, really shine, can really glow as US champion. So that's why I'm going with Naomi.
so Naomi's a weird one for me because I've convinced myself she's going to go heel soon.
I
I've made
think
this up in
so.
my head,
Yeah.
but it does mean that if Bailey wins the title, they could do that feud, right? So Naomi could actually win it from her, which I think would be awesome. Or you could do it the other way around. Naomi wins it and Bailey takes it from her. Pure fantasy booking by me. It's just I read some of the crazy sort of fan fiction that people have online. Oh, what does this mean? What does that mean? And I was like, Naomi has been a good guy for so long. I think just for the novelty of it, I'd love to see the other side, and I think she would be someone that probably leans into it quite hard, and I think it'd be quite fun. So yeah, great show.
Nice, nice. All right, so let's keep it moving. Next up, we have the United States Championship. This one was surprisingly, Simon, my most options. I have three names for these, so I'm gonna try to see who I end up going with. But who's your first pick?
So mine is, I think, well, mine are a bit boring, but I think we have to do it. I think the first one I'm going out there with is Andrade because we had all that stuff. I know it's kind of going back to the well, but it sort of just ended. It's just like, oh, we're
I
done.
don't even
And
remember it. What? I'm
right?
like, I don't even remember it. When you said it, I was like, oh yeah, he was. Whoops.
Yeah, we did that crazy three-way with him, Carmelo Hayes, and LA Knight, and then it just wasn't really a full stop on it. And I think he was so good in that best of whatever it was with Carmelo Hayes. My point is this: you don't want Andrade to get lost in the shuffle, and I'm a little bit worried. He's having really good matches, but we're not. There's no rubber stamp. So I don't know how you get there because I don't really know what's going to happen with Shinsuke Nakamura. I kind of feel like LA Knight could win it back at Saturday Night's main event, but then when do you take it off LA Knight? But I think at some point in 2025. Andrade has to win a belt. It's not going to be the world title. He's on SmackDown. And therefore, from a process of elimination, it has to be the US Championship.
See, I had him on my list too, so I will mention him now that you did, but I get it because to me, I see Andrade as a guy that's like, holy shit, he's so freaking
Oh, good.
talented. He's so
Yeah.
good. It's just the fact that they don't invest in really pushing him like a superstar. Like there are certain people they present as superstars, and you know that they're like, oh yeah, this person, they have it all. Like they could be the WWE superstar, like prototypical, what comes out
Yeah.
of the factory, that's who they push, right? And Andrade, they don't do that with him. Like they just
Yeah.
don't do that. Like there's certain people they just don't present in that fashion, which is unfortunate because he really does have all the skills I think necessary. But until you present him in that light, the crowd is not going to get behind him. So
I agree.
I would like to see comeuppance for Andrade, but my official first pick, I'm gonna have to go with. Man, this one's tough. These are two totally different people, but I'm gonna have to go with Jacob Fatu being the first one.
Oh, that's
And
great.
right? I was thinking like at some point we know Jacob Fatu is going to be, in the world title picture, but that's going to be down the line. It's not going to be this year, at least I don't think. And I just feel like, all right, what the US title if it's not on LA Knight right now, it kind of feels like everybody else is a filler option. I don't want a filler champion. I want a champion that's going to bring back this championship to actually mean something. And we can't keep going to LA Knight. So I thought, how freaking cool would it be if we got Jacob Fatu as US champion and we can finally start knocking off all these dream matches that I have for Jacob Fatu? Because I have a long list of these matches that I want to see. And it's pretty much everybody on the roster versus Jacob Fatu. So for that reason, I'm going with Fatu.
That's the best choice. I didn't think about Jacob Fatu, so I'm an idiot. That is awesome because yeah, it cements him as a singles guy. Obviously, same kind of thing. Can build him up for the world championship. You want to see him fight everyone because he's been booked so well. No. What's the word? No feedback, Denise. That's just perfect. That's such a good shout.
You're like
It's
A
so
plus. Continue
yeah.
on. You passed the exam.
Yeah, no comment. You've smashed it.
I understood the assignment.
You did. You totally did.
Second pick. Who do you got?
So mine's kind of similar, but the problem is yours is better. Yours is a better choice.
That's how I felt with the New Day.
Yeah, but everything you said, but with Carmelo Hayes was my thing because I really like Carmelo Hayes, but I kind of think he's another guy that sort of needs direction. Like, yeah, there's 2 matches with Cody, but he did lose both of them. He had all those great matches with Andrade, but it was 50-50. He didn't win the US title against LA Knight. And I actually think he's a guy that could potentially be drafted whenever we're going to do the draft. But Carmelo Hayes, to me, he's adapted so well to the main roster. I think that you can, obviously he's got the personality, he can talk, like he ticks all the WWE boxes. I think he can absolutely be a US champion, but the problem now is I don't want that because I want Jacob Fatu to hold it for the entire 2025. But I really hope the WWE does do something with Carmelo Hayes because I think as good as he was in NXT, I think his upside on SmackDown, the main roster, is even bigger than even I probably expected. And I would love for him to be a champion. I think that would really sort of put him over the edge.
I think so too. I'm a big Carmelo Hayes fan. So yeah, I get it. I get it. All right. My number 2 is AJ Styles. I know he's out due to injury right now, but when he comes back, what is he going to do? You know, like I don't think he's going to be in the world title picture. He was just there. Some people were complaining during that time that they didn't feel the feud between AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes was all that hot. So I'm like, what else are you going to do with AJ? He's AJ Styles, United States Championship, liven up that whole picture. So that's why I'm going with AJ.
It's great. Listen, AJ Styles to me is one of the best wrestlers ever. And I think some people forget that. So anytime we can do anything nice for AJ Styles, just do it. Your picks are way better than mine, Denise. You smashed that one out of the park. That's home run.
Yes. All right. Next up, we got the Intercontinental Championship. I'm a little complicated on this one, but how'd you do on this one? Who's your first pick?
I've been boring. I've been super, super boring. So my first pick is Sheamus because obviously WWE are hitting us over the head so hard with that story. Oh, he's never won the IC title. You can't eke that out till 2026. You just can't. It's way too long. I was a Sheamus fan when everyone used to give Sheamus crap in like 2015 when he won the title from Roman, Money in the Bank stuff. I still love Sheamus. I just love him. So the fact that he's getting his flowers and his due now, I think is the greatest thing ever. And you don't know how much longer he can keep going. Like the fact he came back from that last injury is incredible. I think it's way worse than people realize. So I want to make sure we get it in there before, look, accidents happen in wrestling. Let's not chance it. Hopefully at WrestleMania. But yeah, Sheamus will definitely be the IC champion 2025. And I will cry because I'll be so happy.
Look, I don't think this is a boring option. Why? Because he brings banger after banger after banger. So for that reason, it's not a boring option. You went with someone that you really like. I got to go with someone I really like on the main roster, on Raw main roster. And it is Big Bronson Reed, man. Dude, I'm such a fan of his. Like I always joke around in my watch-alongs that I'm the leader of his fan club. Honestly, I can't explain it. Like Bronson Reed is just somebody that I want to get behind that I want to root for. So for that reason, Bronson Reed, he's been doing a hell of a job. The feud with Braun Strowman, the feud with Seth Rollins. It's been really 2 big feuds on the main roster, but regardless, they were both A+.
Yes. And also it goes back to what we talked about. When you do that good work, you deserve to get something at some point. And he'd feel like a real dominant champion too. Denise, that's what I even think about it. I feel bad now. That's a really good shout.
He's out for injury right now, so hopefully he'll be back hopefully this will happen at some point in 2025, maybe by the end of it, who knows. But yeah, wishing him the best of luck. All right, who's your number 2 pick?
So we talked about how Sheamus would be a delightful moment and wonderful, and then I want to go back to heartbreak, and I think the person to beat Sheamus should be Ludwig Kaiser.
That's good. That's good.
Because I think Sheamus is a guy who looks at the bigger picture with wrestling, And I think it would be great to retire as Intercontinental Champion. Not that I think he's going to retire anytime soon, but I think he'll also go, you know what would be great here, guys? If the person to take it off me was this horrible, mean, little schneidi Ludwig Kaiser. And also, to me, Bron Breakker and Ludwig Kaiser come maybe 2026 is too early, 2027. They're probably going to be at the top of the card. I mean, they both get it. They're getting better and better. The fans are getting more into them. So yeah, let's start, planting those seeds now. So yeah, not only do I want Ludwig Kaiser to have the belt, I want him to be the guy to take it off Sheamus. I want to hurt. I want to feel that pain. So yeah, I'm putting it out there.
But it's good pain, I think, because I think Ludwig Kaiser is the future top star, man. He's
I
he's
agree.
got that arrogance, like you
Yeah.
just want to shake him and go, "What's wrong with you?" Like that's Ludwig Kaiser. But I think he's got such a great look. He's got that presence where you're just like, dude, you make me so mad, but like in a good way.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm on board with that Ludwig Kaiser pick. My pick was actually Braun Strowman, and I don't know
Nice.
why. I just went with Braun Strowman because I thought, well, I know Braun's out to injury too, but at some point he's going to come back. What's he going to do? And I kind of just threw him in there. I think this was just a face that I saw, and I thought, here's a spot for him. So that's honestly the only reason I went with Braun Strowman. So I kind of hate my option now.
No, I like it because you could do Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman again, and then the title could be on the line. It's a great reason to redo it. I think it's quite a good show.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. Like, what if we got to a situation where we did Braun Strowman and Braun Breaker? I do
Oh,
like Braun
yeah.
Breaker a whole lot more, but I'm like, Braun Breaker can't hold the title forever. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of what I was thinking along those lines.
I
But
like it. I want new matchups all the time. So 2 thumbs.
yeah, it would be fresh up. All right. So let's see. We got four more titles to go to. Let's do the WWE Women's Championship on the SmackDown side. So
I
who's
get
your first pick?
I get confused. It's really dull. It's really boring. But I actually sat down and I went through dates, and I was like, it's not going to happen in 2024. So Tiffany Stratton, right? Tiffany Stratton will cash in a Money in the Bank briefcase. But I want to be right with some of these, basically. So I was like, it's not going to happen at Saturday night's main event. I'm starting to think it's going to happen at the Netflix show. I'm starting to get this real because they want to turn that into this huge mega show. But that's fine. That's 2025. So basically, purely from an arrogant point of view, where I don't want to get every one of my predictions wrong, I'm going with Tiffany Stratton because her cashing in and failing would be such a stupid idea. And WWE doesn't really do stupid ideas anymore. So she's definitely going to do it.
They can't afford stupid ideas. Like they're hot
Yep.
right now. You don't want to piss people off. And I think
Yeah,
that they've
exactly. Yeah.
teased. Right. They've teased this Tiffany Stratton cash in so many times. I also have Tiffany Stratton here. So same thing like you. I'm like, come on, this has to happen. If you don't, you're just like jerking me around. So stop it. um,
Yeah.
all right. Number two, who do you got?
Right. So goes back to what you were talking about. Now, Tiffany Stratton, as far as I'm concerned, is a babyface. And when she cashes in that, she's going to be a super mega of a babyface because people that cash in, even when the most horrible heels cash in, everyone's like, yeah, cash in.
So
So
exciting. Yeah.
I think the person that's going to take it off her and will be a heel by this point is flipping Naomi. That's right. That's why I've moved Naomi into the world title picture because I just think it's such a, I don't know. Never in my wildest dreams did I think we would get good guy Tiffany and bad guy Naomi. But if all of this sort of rumors are true and we head in that direction, once again, I'm repeating myself. I'm a broken record. Naomi has to win a belt. Otherwise, why did she go bad guy? What a waste of life. What a terrible choice you've made. And I actually think her taking off Tiffany Stratton, I think they have a good feud. They have a past because Tiffany Stratton beat her a lot with cheating all the time. So Naomi can cheat and go, excuse me, I just did what you did to me. I think that's really cool. And then it makes Naomi the world champion, which she has deserved for a long ass time. So this is once again me manifesting. I think Naomi's going to do it. Next year is her year.
I don't hate it, man. I was just saying earlier, Naomi needs her due, man.
Yeah.
I kind of went a totally different direction, and I think I went a selfish direction here, Simon, because to me, like my favorite women's wrestler in WWE is Bianca Belair. So I
I
went with
mean,
Bianca because I kind of miss her
me
being
too.
like the top dog at the very top. No, I really do see Bianca at the top all the time. And I kind of don't like it when she's not at the top, only because to me, she offers the best quality when it
Yeah.
comes to match caliber. So for that reason, I want to see her hold a championship, a singles championship once again, even though she's tag team champions right now. But they haven't said what's going to happen with the women's tag team titles right now. So I'm just saying, WWE Women's Champion once again, Bianca Belair.
She's also the best babyface in the company. People forget that. Maybe her and Cody. She is just what a lovely human being. You just want to see her win matches. You just root for her. And you're right. I understand the tag team stuff, but she needs to go back in the singles division for sure.
I feel ya. All right, we got to go into the other side of things now. The Women's World Championship. Who do you have?
I've cheated again because
Wait,
I did my numbers. It's just so boring. Rhea Ripley is my first
no,
one.
number two.
But she's going to win it. Listen, I would bet my hair that she is going to win that championship on that Raw show. She's going to win on that Raw show because if you want to turn that event into like this super pay-per-view, PLE, you got to have belts change hands. And it's just, I love Liv Morgan, probably one of the best, most improved of 2024, whatever you want to call it. But Rhea Ripley is going to win that title back. It's so obvious. If it's not happening at Saturday's main event, I think the Royal Rumble is way too far away. You cannot keep doing that story. It has to be on that Netflix show. That's 2025. I honestly would bet my mortgage on it. I'm so confident that she's going to do it. So this is another one of me wanting to be correct. So yeah, I'm going Rhea Ripley.
I also went with Rhea. It feels like that's what they're planning on doing. I feel like the story's not going to finish until she gets her title back.
Yeah.
So yes, Rhea. Second pick.
Right. So something is going to have to happen because I don't think you can go back to this match now, but I think Becky Lynch will be champion in 2025. And I think it's really important for Becky Lynch to be, because I think she'll come back, obviously. And I think because she's going to be a Raw guy and Netflix are just desperate for as much star power as they can, I think people forget how big of a star Becky Lynch is. Like, again, my mum, when Becky Lynch blew up, even my mum, well, who's this Becky Lynch? Because she'd just seen her on social media, just the name popping up, had no idea. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, Becky Lynch way bigger than even I realized. So if she's coming back, she probably could fall down into the Intercontinental title picture. I still think she's too big for that. I don't think she'll win it off Rhea Ripley. There's someone I'm not thinking about that's going to bridge this gap. But I 100% think Becky Lynch will be the champion in 2025. Yeah, for sure.
All right. That one's interesting too, because when Becky comes back, everyone's gonna be like, woo, big pop,
Yeah.
heart makes what is it? Absence makes the heart grow fonder. So I feel like you got that working against you. I mean, working for you. All right, I went totally crazy here. All right. I
Oh,
just went a
yes.
polar different opposite direction because I couldn't think of another option. Because I thought, okay, it's Rhea Ripley. So if I'm thinking Rhea Ripley wins the title, like who would beat the title, who would win the title
Yeah.
off of Rhea, right? So that's why I started going along those lines. So I instead went with somebody who I'm predicting will get called up at some point in 2025 from NXT and be a possible champion, and that is Julia. I decided to
Nice.
go with her because I thought, sometimes they just be taking people from NXT. And in fact, like lately, I think Julia will become NXT Women's Champion. And if you recall, they took Indy Hartwell when she became champion. They took Tiffany Stratton right after she became champion.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance they're going to be like, Julia, you're up. And she's obviously, so advanced in her wrestling. I think it could be Julia.
I mean, I wouldn't get mad at it. And who doesn't want to see Rhea Ripley versus Julia? Who doesn't want to see Becky Lynch versus Julia? This is the benefit of Julia. When you sit down, you book her against anyone, you're like, yep, 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 yep. So I didn't go with Julia because my gut is she may not make it in 2025, but she should do. That's me second guessing. I don't know what. It's a really, really good show.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and hop into the World Heavyweight Championship. This one was tough. This one, I don't know if it was that easy, but who was your first pick?
So the first one, I cannot believe it's not going to happen, is CM Punk. I think CM Punk is going to become the World Heavyweight Champion because it's quite incredible how he's more over now than he ever has been, which I find baffling because CM Punk has always been this been anomaly. But the fact he was what's the word I'm looking for? So loud about going to WrestleMania, winning the Royal Rumble, winning the Elimination Chamber. I don't think, unless he's going to go heel, which he certainly could do, I don't think you're going to let a babyface be that strong about it and then not back it up. Again, unless he becomes a villain, which I've got no problem with. But I also think if you don't do it in 2025, 2026, I think the landscape is going to be so different. So yeah, I think Punk is going to win the World Heavyweight Championship. I really do. And it's going to break the internet and it's going to be wonderful.
Well, Simon, I got to tell you, we're vibing on this one because I also had CM Punk. He was the only person that I can confidently put in this spot at number one. He
Yeah.
was the only one because I'm like, all right, come on. He was just talking about it on Raw this week. How do you not go this direction? And right now that you have CM Punk healthy, you have him there. Let's run with it. Like I need to see a full CM Punk championship run. Unfortunately, his two AEW World Championship runs, they didn't go the way you might have expected. So I need to see CM Punk as a world champion in a top promotion and have him actually, really truly defend it as a proper champion. So I'm going with CM Punk. Who's your second pick?
So my second one, I don't think he's going to win it from CM Punk, even though I think that would be wonderfully poetic. It could happen. But this is me looking at someone who has done, as far as I'm concerned, the best work of 2024, if not top two. And once again, I need him to get his due after the title was stolen from him in 4 seconds by that awful, secretly love him, Damian Priest. Drew McIntyre has got to be the world champion. Now, listen, if you want him to beat Punk for it, I'm not going to get mad at it because I think that would be so good. But I also think then you have to do a rematch, and maybe we're prolonging that feud. We're dragging it out a little bit too much. But Drew McIntyre just needs to be the world champion for a month, just so that it's not an evening, because that's still his goal. That's still what drives him. And he did so well in 2024. Again, I think I want him to have that pat on the back. So, yeah, I'm throwing Drew out there.
I gotta tell you, I don't know what's wrong with me, man. How the hell did I not think of Drew? The second you started talking about Drew, I was like, girl, what is wrong with you? It
He's only
should
just come
be
back.
Drew.
He's only just come back. So it probably wasn't in your brain. That's all
But
it is.
still, it should be in my head more than ever. Okay, so I hate my option now. Sorry, Ludwig Kaiser. You were my number 2. I'll still mention your name because
Really? Oh, I like it.
I had Ludwig Kaiser up there. I don't know why. I was reaching, but I was just thinking, I don't know what I was thinking, but I kind of hate my option now. So forget my reasoning for this. I agree with Simon here on Drew McIntyre. That makes the most sense, but whatever. I'll just say Ludwig because that's who I had written down.
Awesome.
All right. Because it's not a bad option, totally.
No.
Like I said, we got to make new stars at some point.
I'm all about that. Even if it doesn't work, who cares? Try it and see. Who knows? It could be the best thing you ever did.
True. All right. So, Undisputed WWE Championship, last one. This one was somewhat tough. I don't know. Who was your first pick?
So mine are hilarious because when I wrote them down, I was like, oh, we're going back to 2010. Because my first pick is Randy Orton, right? Listen, when we do that CM Punk, when we do that Cody Rhodes feud, Randy Orton has to win the belt from him. I don't know if we're going to do it. I still can't figure out if we're doing it before Mania or after Mania. It's so difficult because Mania is still like 5 months away, basically, or 4 months away. It's so far away. So I just think if you're going to do Cody versus Randy, Randy Orton has to win the belt to make that feud everything that I want it to be. And so I've got to put him out there. I think that Randy Orton will be champion in 2025. And I think it's going to be really good. I think it's going to be great.
So I think I figured this out because my first pick is actually John Cena.
Right.
I
Okay,
think John Cena, Cody Rhodes, WrestleMania. I think that's what we're gonna get. So
really? Oh,
let's
wow.
just say, yeah, that's my prediction. Like honestly. So let's just say John Cena defeats Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. Eventually, Cody Rhodes is gonna take the title back. And then they can do Cody and Randy Orton, and then you can get your Randy Orton wish right there if he defeats Cody Rhodes. You see what I'm saying? I'm just hot potatoing now, but I don't know. That's the only case scenario that I see there. And the reason I say John Cena is because I think a lot of people are anticipating him to win the championship belt, and come on, like it's his last year. You're going to want to make the news. You're going to want to, like you said, WWE creates pops. They create moments. This is a pop. This is a moment. And this is something that would go down in history. So for that reason, I'm going with John Cena.
So John Cena is my number 2, but I have booked it differently from you. So that's exciting because, and there can be variants to this. This is my over-the-top fantasy booking. But I think John Cena could win the Royal Rumble. Who's going to get mad at that, right? John Cena's in his swan song. Everybody loves him. I then think you could do Gunther versus John Cena at WrestleMania. I think people would be quite excited about that. I've got off that idea now because I think Gunther's going babyface, so, probably not. However, I love the idea before he started doing this of Gunther beating John Cena at WrestleMania. And then John Cena's entire year-long story being this quest for the 17th title, which he wins in December at his very last show, whatever that will be. We should call the pay-per-view the John Cena pay-per-view. I don't care. We should give him a proper send-off. He wins the championship in December, and that's the last you ever see him as an active wrestler. Now, I don't think John Cena would want to do that because I think he's very much business. Look up at the lights. But I would love that because I think if you are going to crown again, I know if you get into the numbers, people argue about them. Let's talk about it from a story point of view. The 17-time world champion has never been done before in WWE. So I think when he wins that, it should be not the first thing that he does, but the last thing, just as an awesome full stop to what is one of the best WWE runs ever. So I do think John Cena will win it, but I'm pushing him all the way back to December to try and get some crazy drama out of it.
Hey, this is a 2025 video. We didn't say what month. So, hey, it can be any time as long as it happens in that year. I'm not sure what people are going to think about my second option. I'm actually kind of scared to even say it out loud. Maybe, maybe not. My number 2, the only person I could think of was a babyface Roman Reigns. I know.
Why not?
I know.
No, why not?
Because we were just there. But I mean,
Ah,
heel
yes.
Roman Reigns for 4 years. That's why I tweaked it just a little bit. But I'm like, come on, you can't like here's the thing. Whoever holds the undisputed WWE championship now, like they got to really be like the top person in the
Yeah,
company.
yeah.
You just can't give it to any Joe Schmo. And so right now, that's why I'm going with babyface Roman.
I don't think that's a bad prediction because he's such a big star. Can you really imagine going through a whole year when he's at least not competing for it? And if he's competing for it, he's got a chance to win it. He's flipping Roman Reigns. So no, I don't think that's out of the realms of possibility at all. And also, listen, I would never wish this on anyone. People get injured. And if you do lose somebody and Roman's right there, you go, Roman, step into this spot. You're literally perfect for it. I don't want that to happen. But I think in terms of a prediction, I think Roman is a really, really good shout.
Yeah, man, I just couldn't think of it in any other direction. So that's what I ran with there. But Simon, we did it. Future WWE champion predictions for 2025. I seriously want to thank you so much for doing this video with me. It was so much freaking fun just to kind of go through this. And now I got all of these hopes for 2025. But before we go, before we wrap things up, please tell the people what you're working on because I know you're working on like a million different things, man. But tell the people where they can also find you and all of that.
I am. So as always, very, very sadly, if you type in Simon 316 to social media, you can find me. I would not have called myself that now had I known. I didn't know when I set this account up in 2007. Also, if you search for me on YouTube, Simon Miller, obviously got my ups and downs over on What Culture. That's the series I do for them. But also you can come see me wrestle in the flesh. And now I'm kind of splitting my time between the UK and the USA. So keep your eye on my social media. And yeah, you can see dates and you can come down. And I should be on East Coast, West Coast next year. So you can come tell me how rubbish I am at wrestling, which is totally fine. Just come. That's all I care about. Just come.
Come out to California, man. Do you got any bookings yet for California?
So I was there for what's the word? A piece of cake. No, a cup of coffee. That's right. I was there for a cup of coffee back in October where I did Chris Van Vliet's show. Shout out to Chris. And I also worked for SoCal Pro, and I will be doing more stuff with SoCal Pro next year and some other ones. So I will be back in California, yes, in 2025.
All right, all right. Next time you're back here in California, we got to do something in person.
Hell,
All right.
done.
We got to
That
make
is
it happen.
that's a date. Done and dusted. Hell yeah.
All righty, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, I'm going to put all of the links where you guys can follow Simon and check out his work and everything that he's doing. If you're here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let us know your predictions in the comment section below, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye, everyone.